whoever you are, wherever you are, I hope you are blessed and doing safe. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings, family. Of course, I'm tuning in. You see me without the glasses off today, but if you're looking for some opportunities, particular advertisement opportunities, then look no further at the link at the bottom to my email address. You can hit me up for advertisement opportunities. We are supporting and promoting your businesses here on this channel. You can also, if you would like to donate and subscribe to our Patreon, a link is at the bottom as well. So you have multiple ways in which you can advertise with the platform by emailing me when we go on through our live stream. You also have access to premium content, those that want to see premium content that you will not find here on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, as I am suspended probably by now. You guys can check out the Patreon at link at the bottom. But advertisement opportunities, definitely email me, gavin.grich1@gmail.com for rates. And for the Patreon, it is the same as the YouTube channel. It is channel gboot2786. All right, I'll holla. Peace. Well, how we doing tonight? How we doing tonight? Smash up the likes, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all live. We are live. Hit that notification bell. Smash up the likes. Smash up the likes. Smash up the likes. We are live. We are live, and I'm coming at you with 5 as always. It's channel gboot2786. Gavin Richard on Facebook, on Rumble, as well as X. Wherever you are, wherever you are, I hope you are blessed and doing safe. Greetings, family. Wherever you are, wherever you are, greetings. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. You know we're alive. You know, I've been worn out. This has been a very busy weekend for me because we've had a lot of activities. Now, no, I didn't do the show Thursday because I had family. My brother came in town. It was anniversary at St. Aug graduating class, as well as his graduating class. They had their 25th anniversary. I had my 20th at St. Aug, so that's going on. Yeah, October is, of course, homecoming weekend, so it was always a big thing. And so activities were going on. I didn't get a chance to go. I went enjoy it myself. I went to the St. Aug game with my dad. My dad's a graduate as well. It's going to be 55 years for him since he graduated from high school. So, gosh, time is flying. That's why you got to enjoy yourself, man. But, yeah. What's going on, Catalina? They had, speaking of homecoming, it was also my 10th anniversary over at Southern University Law Center. Over there. And I'm hearing that people at Southern had Jurassic, and I put ass for time. A Bearassic, I could say. Man, I'm not gonna post it on here because for some reason, when I try and post stuff from Facebook, it's messed up. But I've seen pictures of the females up at Southern for the homecoming game yesterday, because Southern's homecoming was yesterday, and the ass, the mini skirt, the clothes I saw they were wearing, 2 inches above the thing, literally like Pop said at House Party with John Witherspoon, but he was talking to his wife and he was on the phone with 911. What y'all up there? Y'all talking to public? Y'all playing that Public Enema? Look at her. Can I hold them bitches, baby? Bearassic, the ass was out. Somebody said I got class, but Southern got ass. Yeah, the ass was out over at Southern. From what I saw, they had females that were out there walking. I mean, the skirts were all the way up to the. Someone said that I take pics. I didn't take pics of the females that were there, no, because I wasn't up at Southern. They got pictures online up there, but no, I took pics of my graduating class. Yeah, I mean, let's just say if you got a tattoo, ladies, if you got a tattoo on your ass, I shouldn't be able to see where the tattoo starts. That's how high it was. That's what I saw on Facebook, and many people have been complaining on Facebook, especially in the Southern community. They've been complaining about it. I heard people complain. I don't. I'm gonna tell y'all something. Even when I went to Southern, I went to some games. I didn't go to all of them. And part of the reason why I didn't go to the games, I didn't go out to the parades and stuff like that. A lot of it has to do with traffic. I hate traffic. I hate traffic, especially big traffic jams because you can't control anything. You're stuck for minutes on end. Hopefully, you don't have to use the restroom. But also, just especially up there at Southern, that's on Scotlandville on the yard. It's always crowded. It's always packed. And most importantly, especially with Southern, a lot of stuff is disorganized. They don't have, and from what people are telling me, like they didn't have cops controlling the traffic, what direction to enter in. Tailgating and parking was a big problem, especially tailgating. They don't let you someone says you can't even buy a reserve a parking spot online if you have an RV. So that was one issue they had. The screen for the field doesn't work. A bunch of stuff they were complaining about, stuff I experienced at Southern. Now, luckily for me, when I was on Southern's campus, I could just walk there. So it wasn't a big, like I'm driving across town and doing that. I could just, stay that Friday night and just go to the game right afterwards. So it wasn't a big deal for me. But yeah, a lot of people were complaining about it. A couple of people complaining about it, but I heard Southern won, so I guess that's the best point. But yeah, Southern, yeah, man, it wasn't family friendly. What I saw, those kids growing up are definitely. Hey, I think the boys growing up, if they are going to be boys, will definitely want to go to Southern because they want to experience that when they get a little older. Danielle said she wasn't doing stuff on campus when you were there. You weren't doing anything on the yard. You didn't even. Come on, you did pretty Wednesdays. Danielle, I know you have to have done that. I never pledged. No, I never did none of that stuff because I saw all of the fights and stuff that would break out. I wasn't into that shit. I mean, look, I went to St. Aug. That was kind of a fraternity in and of itself. I didn't have to pay $4,000 and continue to pay a Boulay membership fee annually. Sorry, it just never interested me. Never interested me. But I want to talk about that. And another thing that's been going on, we got this election coming up, man, and the black celebrities are out stomping for Kamala. Of course, Trump has his black celebrities stomping for him, particularly the athletes. Antonio Brown, I think Mike Wallace is another one, and they got Le'Veon Bell. I think Levon was a running back for the Steelers, if I'm not mistaken. And they got this picture of Bell up here where he says Trump on a tramp, referring to Kamala Harris. And some people, I don't even know who Brian Christopher is. He wrote this. He says, black men, how is Obama going to point fingers at us about misogyny? Why can't we also want Kamala as president? Why can't we just not want Kamala Harris as president? And he says also black men using Antonio Brown like this. And even the sister, Holly Robinson Pete. I've had gone back and forth with Holly Robinson Pete in the past before. She's come out against this, as well as Jamel Hill, Yoda. And they've been talking about this, going, this is what, Holly Robinson Pete said, this is what Obama is talking about. Like, how y'all go to Barack Obama like he's the fucking end all and be all of black authority in a black community? How does he represent y'all? Hey, this is a man, yeah, he married a black woman, but this was a man, other than his African daddy, he wouldn't have any ties to the fucking black community. I'm just being real. He would have no ties to the black community. And throughout his career, he's pointing his finger down at black men. Now, I don't condone what LaVon Bell wrote and had this. I don't condone what he's wearing, personally. And I don't think he should be the representation of all black men, which is what I have a problem with Mr. Christopher's remark on this. And it's not just Jamel Hill and Holly Robinson Pete who came at him. Also, Jeffrey Wright, the actor that played Peebles and Shaft. He's a big blue shield. A lot of these celebrities, guys, a lot of them are very pro-Democrat. Now, this is a black man. And someone wrote, he talks about receipts that she has. Kamala Harris has thrown she has thrown black people under the bus many times. She said out of her own mouth she's not going to do anything specifically for black people. She's had Meg Thee Stallion shaking her behind for her on stage in Atlanta. She goes to rappers and artists. She doesn't go to the black men and black community, and not just barbershops. Because let's be real honest, a lot of when they want to talk to black people, you've noticed, and this is on both sides, they want to go into the barbershops to talk to us. The barbershop is not like a Ice Cube. Like ever since Ice Cube's movie, that's where they think all black men congregate. That's not. They don't go to the jobs. They go to the barbershop or the churches. That's the only two places they go to. Right. Harvey can tell them about Obama being that he lives in Chicago. Yeah, Barack Obama is a multi-millionaire. He doesn't live like you and I. These are celebrities. These are people who probably for a day in their life. I'm not going to say they don't work, but let's be honest. These are celebrities that can make off the bat. Now, I don't know about Holly Robinson Pete or income, but I don't think Holly Robinson Pete is going to can make $20 million for a picture. That's crap. She's never had a career like that. But Holly Robinson Pete, I'm sure, can get another acting gig somewhere. Same thing with Jeffrey Wright. He's going to, through his career, I know he's made millions. He just did that Batman movie where he was Commissioner Gordon. But these are people who are not going to be, they don't live like you and I. They can buy townhomes. They can live and make other movies. They can make millions. Probably don't even have to work a day in their life anymore, depending on if they play their cards right. They may be producing something. Jeffrey Wright, I think, is a producer. So he, of course, can have another career. Doesn't have to work a 9 to 5 like you and me. Same thing with Holly Robinson Pete and others. George Clooney. Y'all think George Clooney is going to be hurt after this election if Donald Trump wins the presidency? He talked about how they're not going to win with this Joe Biden. We can't have Donald Trump in office anymore. Dude, you got townhomes in 4 different countries. You can go and become an Italian citizen if it gets too bad. Yeah, I saw that. He was working McDonald's and people were complaining about that. Yeah, they probably shut that whole McDonald's down. But yeah, I didn't think it was cool with LaVon Bell. Is it LaVon or Le'Veon? I'm gonna say Le'Veon Bell was wearing, but at the same time, they want to make this a blackmail issue and try and support what Barack Obama was saying. They even had Wendell Pierce walk back his comments about his comments that he made about Barack Obama when he criticized black men a couple of weeks ago. And he was on CNN how he talked to the president. Now, I know Wendell Pierce personally, so I'm not going to say too much, but I'll just say I disagree with my brother. I think that he should have stood his ground, and I'll just leave it at that. I don't talk to Wendell Pierce that often. I know him because his father, well, his dad, God rest his soul, was a member of the church where I go to that passed, and Wendell has visited. Phantom said he gave me extra nuggets and fries. Oh, you got that Trump sauce? Did you get the special Trump sauce? You know, the orange mustard with sweet, mixed like a sweet and sour mixed with barbecue, but with a tint of tang, because it's gonna be terrific. If it's not that, then it's gonna be bad. It's real bad, especially if it's served by Kamala. I might give her some fries because her birthday was today, and I'm sure it's gonna be terrific. Come back and do it again.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. HC, they call me Mr. President, and I'm not even in the White House anymore. Terrific.
I can see. We pray for you, and you are the type of person we want to be the president.
That's a wait. Hold on. I gotta pause that.
Thank you very much.
That's an Indian family. That's an Indian dude. Listen to his voice. He's talking about he wants. You're the type of person we want for president.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I took a bullet. That's right. Thank you, Mr. President. When you think about it, I guess that's right. I want to be the president. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. So nice. I can see. We pray for you, and you are the type of person we want to be the president. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. So nice. Thank you very much.
I'm a lot about everything. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. President. When you think about it, I guess that's right. Thank you. Thank you.
And all those celebrities that are pouring out, yeah, they use a lot of these black celebrities. Let's just be honest, a lot of them, yeah, they're tied with the Democratic Party. They get the pandering is off the charts. Yeah, Kamala was actually at church today. She talked about how remember last week when she said she sang in the choir. I wonder if they find any choir members that remembers her in the girls' choir, in the youth choir. No, I was in the choir because I grew up in a working class family. everything's tied. Everything's tied with a working class family. Wait, this is it. Hold on. This is Jamal Bryant's church. Jamal Bryant is up in Baltimore.
Thank you. Thank
Whoa. My mom was Indian. Yeah. Hindu Brahmin. Put the music back on. I'm not even tripping on that. The pandering and stuff is the issue. Yeah, just be straight up and say, when you say you cook greens, I cooked some green. Everybody was asking for my collard greens so much that you had to clean them out of a tub. Get the fuck out of here, lady. Who eats food? Do y'all eat food that's been in a tub? Think about that. Think about that for a minute. And nobody can. Nobody cares. So we got that. Yeah, man. I just can't wait till this election season goes over. You say you eat out of a tub. Well, with a name like Little Monkey, I can agree. At any rate, let's go ahead and talk about what we're going to be discussing tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about the Arizona Police Department, this incident that occurred a couple of weeks ago out in Phoenix, Arizona. Tyron McAlpin, who's 34 years old, was arrested and charged with 2 criminal charges, including aggravated assault and 1 count of resisting arrest, which were both felonies after police officers accused him of failing to respond to verbal commands and engaged in what they called, quote, active aggression by swinging punches, according to an officer during an August 19th arrest. However, all of those charges have been dismissed, and I'm going to explain why in a minute. And that is that Mr. McAlpin, who's 34 years old, is deaf. And on top of being deaf, he also suffers from cerebral palsy. So this is going to be a hard video to watch. But it's necessary. And we're going to go over tonight what are the ramifications legally for those 2 police officers that were involved, and what type of compensation, what type of actions can Mr. McAlpin and his attorneys bring towards the police department. So we're going to be talking about this. This is courtesy of NBC News out in Phoenix. This happened back on August 19th. So we're going to see some body camera footage. Now, I'm going to warn everybody, it is not a pretty picture what happens. Of course, they don't show the whole video of it in this picture, but it's just a warning for everyone. Viewer discretion is advised. Fair use. We're going to put up fair use. So we wanted to discuss this, and I'm going to go into what happened. So police got called out there, basically about something that happened. I believe that someone was accused of shoplifting or stealing, and police officers arrive. A white male who supposedly, I guess, claims to be a witness, says that this person stole another person's cell phone, stole something from a 7-Eleven, and they said he went inside there, and so the officers, taking the white man's word, went in there to apprehend him. But here's the thing: how do they know he was that person? So we'll go over that. So it stemmed from an arrest an incident that occurred at a Circle K convenience store on East Indian School Road. Police responded to the store after receiving a 911 call about a fight, according to the police incident report that was provided to NBC News by McAlpin's attorney, Jesse Showalter. The 911 caller said a white man in his 20s had been the aggressor and was still in the store, the police report said. Officer Benjamin Harris spoke with the man who said he had been assaulted after he tried to stop the theft of a bike, according to the incident report. The man then pointed to McAlpin, who was walking nearby, and identified him as the person who assaulted him. So let's go ahead and play this video. So this is where the video starts. And let me just turn this music off. So viewer discretion advised. This is fair use, by the way. So this is where the video starts, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to play that for y'all here. So hold on.
Just seconds after making contact.
Phoenix police officers scuffling with, then forcing Tyron McAlpin to the ground. McAlpin, who is deaf and has cerebral palsy, appearing confused.
Get your hands behind your back.
As officers shout commands. In this body cam footage from August 19th, provided by his attorney. Officers repeatedly punching McAlpin's head, then tasering him 4 separate times. The officers, Benjamin Harris and Kyle Sue, were responding to a call of an altercation at the Circle K.
All right. I want to just say a couple of things. So we saw earlier from the video what happened as the note in this video when this started. I'm going to rewind it back. You do not see Mr. McAlpin swing back at these officers. Not to mention also he's already on the ground and the officers are laying on top of him. So how could he have punched any of the officers?
Everybody stop where you're at.
Just seconds after making contact.
Let's see.
Phoenix police officer.
The officer grabs Mr. McAlpin first. So he assaults him, actually. And you can see the officer has a balled up fist ready to punch Mr. McAlpin.
They're scuffling with, then forcing Tyron McAlpin to the ground. McAlpin, who is deaf and has cerebral palsy, appearing confused.
Get your hands behind your back.
As officers shout commands. In this body cam footage from August 19th, provided by his attorney. Officers repeatedly punching McAlpin's head, then tasering him 4 separate times. The officers, Benjamin Harris and Kyle Sue, were responding to a call of an altercation at the Circle K convenience store, according to police reports provided by McAlpin's attorney. The caller reportedly indicated the aggressor was a white male who refused to leave the store. And when officers questioned that man on scene, they say he accused McAlpin of trying to steal his bike and punching him.
We're saying that's the guy that assaulted
right there. Keep the backwards right on.
In response, officers rushed to detain McAlpin. But his lawyer tells NBC News both policemen failed to use due diligence.
At no point do you believe that proper police protocol was followed here?
That's correct. The reason for the contact with Tyron McAlpin is supposed to be just to investigate what happened at the Circle K. What Officer Harris does instead is he doesn't activate his lights. He leaps out of the car, and when you watch his body camera, you see his hands going forward, outstretched, grabbing Tyron. All he had to do was step out of the vehicle and give Tyron a chance to respond to him.
It's not clear that the officers knew McAlpin was deaf when he was first approached. His wife arriving moments after the confrontation, trying to explain her husband's situation.
What kind of disabilities do you have?
He's deaf and he's got cerebral palsy.
Saying she was FaceTiming with McAlpin before police moved in, using sign language to communicate.
How is he deaf if you've been on the phone?
Because I know sign language, that's why.
Officers at one point even threatening to detain her.
Ma'am, over there on the sidewalk, or you're going to go to jail.
McAlpin's been charged with 3 felonies, 2 counts of aggravated assault on the arresting officers, and 1 count of resisting arrest.
On those charges, just FYI for those wondering, they were dismissed. The prosecutor in that case, and this was in, what county is this in Phoenix, Arizona? This is actually in trying to see what county this is in. This is in Maricopa County. The district attorney, Rachel Mitchell, announced this past Thursday that she has completed a review of the case and made a decision to dismiss the assault and resistance charges. She had to.
The 2 officers both reporting injuries.
Broke my hand. Did he bite you? Yeah.
In response to questions about officers' actions, Phoenix police said in part, the incident is the subject of an ongoing internal investigation. The Maricopa County attorney now reviewing the charges against McAlpin, saying in part, I believe this case merits additional scrutiny.
Tyron spent 24 days in jail as a result of these charges before he could make bail. And he and his wife have a 6-month-old son. He's afraid to go outside. He's afraid to, to walk the streets in his neighborhood, and no American citizen should ever have to feel that way because of the actions of police.
And tonight, regarding those two police officers in question, Phoenix PD staying tight-lipped about their current status, not sharing whether they've been placed on administrative leave or if they're continuing to work patrols. And some important context here, Tom, is that Phoenix Police Department is just a few months removed.
The blue wall of silence is always there.
From the results of a Department of Justice investigation. This lasted 3 years. It was released back in June. And what it found were several concerning things. Number one being that communities of color were disproportionately targeted. It also found several examples of excessive uses of force. In response to that report, the city of Phoenix acknowledged that it needs to take measures recommended by the DOJ, and it has promised a greater level of accountability as well.
So, a few things. Of course, I was talking in between that. So, what y'all saw with that video, obviously, they took this man's word for it. The white man who accused Tyrone of trying to steal his bike. They took his word for it. They couldn't talk to Tyrone. They didn't bother to try and speak with him. Even though they pulled up to the car, they went and grabbed him immediately. They couldn't ascertain whether or not he was competent or if he could actually talk. And probably if they had decided to do that, to talk to him, they would have been able to find out that the man had hearing problems. Now, they went and grabbed him. The lights were not, obviously you can see in the video from the security footage that was on, not the body cam, but the security footage. The officers, sorry, y'all, let me clear my throat. The officers' lights on top of his car, siren lights were not on, which would have signaled a stop, signaled the person to stop. They didn't do that. I think it's also important to point out you didn't hear it on the body cam footage either. I didn't hear his siren or anything go off as if he was trying to initiate a stop. They immediately went to grab Mr. McAlpin. And, of course, naturally, he pulled away. He didn't know what was going on. Now, on top of that, you have two officers standing on top of him, and you notice that while both officers are holding him down, they're punching him repeatedly in the head. I believe at one point they had his arm under his under his neck, and you hear the officer who tried to initiate the stops. The first officer that got there, they said, tase him, in which they tased him 4 times. Now, the white woman who came out tried to advise the officers that the man was deaf and he had hearing problems, in which they threatened to detain her as well. So, what are the ramifications for the Phoenix Police Department as a result of this incident? Well, it is very much so. First off, I would like to commend Tyron McAlpin on getting an attorney. I think he is doing the right thing by hiring an attorney who can handle both. And obviously, the criminal side has been handled since the prosecutor's office decided to look at the case again and dismiss the charges. But also, and they had no choice to do that. But also, he got an attorney, a civil attorney, apparently, I'm assuming it is, who can file an action, wrongful, no, we call it a wrongful arrest. It's not, but it's actually what's called a 1983 action. And that's a civil, what that means when we say 1983, that it comes from a federal bill, a Civil Rights Act complaint. That's essentially what that means. It's a civil complaint under Section 1983 of the United States Code, where you have to show that the defendants acted under the color of state law. They deprived the citizen of the United States right, and how they acted under the color of law. Those are the rules we have, especially the laws we have when we want to sue police officers in a police department, showing that the defendant was acting under state law. Now, clearly, and that they violated your rights. Now, clearly, we can tell several rights have been violated by Mr. McAlpin's rights, at least constitutional rights. All of them have been violated. First off, his right against unreasonable searches and seizures, which is number 4. They used excessive force by tasing him, in my opinion. Of course, the right to remain silent. He has a First Amendment right to do so and a Fifth Amendment right. Uh, that, of course, was being violated. The officers immediately grabbed him. Uh, they didn't allow him to finish or talk. Of course, if he's deaf, and I'm not assuming that he's mute or anything, but obviously, if he has issues, couldn't communicate at the time, wasn't allowed to because they're up here grabbing him. On top of that, grabbing him and forcibly kicking him and punching him in the head and tasing him. His 14th Amendment rights are also violated because under the 14th Amendment of the United States, no person shall be deprived life, liberty, and property without due process of law and the equal protection of law as well. So he certainly can bring an action against the police department for that. Another action he's going to be able to bring against the police officers. Many people may have heard of this because I just spoke about it before when there was an incident with a handicapped man. I think this was about a year or two ago outside of Target, where a handicapped man was paying for a bicycle and he was taking too long, and a Target employee decided to call the police. Well, there is something called the American Disabilities Act of 1990, which allows a federal civil rights law where you can actually, it's used basically to prohibit discrimination against people with disabilities. So clearly, Mr. McAlpin who's deaf, and he also has cerebral palsy, which can cause issues with, a person's ability to speak, also walk, and so forth. Certainly, that gets deprived and could have been actually made worse due to the actions of these officers. Now, and I'm sure his attorney has done this as well. First thing that an attorney would probably want to do, and by the way, I got to do a disclaimer. This information I'm providing does not create an attorney-client relationship. It is just my advice and my opinion alone based off the information. What I would do as an attorney if I was representing a client like Mr. McAlpin. And I just had to do that disclaimer. I certainly would have, and I'm sure he has sent what's called a spoliation letter, making sure a spoliation letter would be used to protect any and all evidence, any security camera footage, any body camera footage from the police department, not just them, but also from the Circle K that's there, to make sure that the video camera footage was preserved. So that way we can have that information as well, because that is just as relevant as the body camera footage. It may also indicate and vindicate what, or I guess confirm what may or may have happened between Mr. McAlpin and the man who was accusing him of stealing his bike as well. That's actually important, but also what happened with the altercation with the police. The other thing I would do, certainly I'm sure he's done it, I would already send a demand letter to to the city attorney and telling them, hey, you guys do not want this in court, because I think they're going to give him a quick settlement demand, a quick and justifiable settlement, depending, of course, upon his injuries. But you're talking about somebody that was in jail for 24 days, I believe, falsely arrested. That is a hell of a thing. And you did this to a handicapped individual. I don't believe any juror in their reasonable mind would not rule in favor of Mr. McAlpin based off these circumstances and the reaction of these officers, and the way they handled the entire situation was not in a police-friendly or community-friendly way, which, of course, that department, from what you've heard, and here's another thing that's going to help them out with the lawsuit. Phoenix Police Department has been investigated by the Justice Department on several violations and having a history of harassing Black people of color in general. So, added with that, I would include that in my complaint with the federal court if they don't grant the settlement demand that I want. It might be enough to actually get Mr. McAlpin, he and his wife, into a very secluded neighborhood in Phoenix, and I hope it does. Now, I'm sorry, y'all. I don't know. This cold is getting me. Hold on. Let me put the music back on. So, yeah, I was perturbed by what I saw in the video, but I think Mr. McAlpin is going to get justice. But most important thing I want to ask you all, and I think I know the answer to this, how many of you all think that the officers are likely to be brought up on charges? Let me rephrase that. Do you think the officers should be brought up on charges? Give me a yes or no in the chat. Who thinks they should be brought up on charges? If they get fired, they may. Yeah. And if it's battery of a handicapped individual, that can be very problematic for them because I don't know what the law is in Phoenix, but there are, let's just say, I know here in Louisiana, we have things like battery of the infirm, battery on they actually have battery on a referee. Hey, we're passionate about our sports, but hey, you can't hit the referees, no matter how much of a bad of a call they make. They actually have a law like that in Louisiana. Yeah, just like they used to have theft of crawfish, theft of copper. Yeah, they have stuff like that. But yeah, the penalties, I'm sure, I don't know what they have in Arizona, but I do know that the penalties may be a little stiffer because they do have that in Louisiana where if you batter an infirm, batter a child of anything, yeah, it can be stiffer fines and costs on an individual. Can he sue the PD's insurance company? Well, typically, what you would do, Phantom, as the attorney, you can sue. They may not know who the insurance company is. Long story short, yes. Um, of course, he doesn't know who the insurance company is probably by now, but it'd be like XYZ Insurance. You can add them. But certainly, who you would be able to sue would be the city of Phoenix. That's one thing for sure. Definitely the police department. Now, can he sue the people individually? You necessarily wouldn't sue them as individuals alone, but basically in their capacity as officers. You would mention the officers by name who are in there, naming them as defendants. The police department, as well as the city, the mayor of the city. You can sue the insurance companies. Uh, are they able to? Now, here's another thing. Can they sue Circle K? I don't know if they can. It might be hard to sue Circle K since it happened, but you definitely will want to sue in the city because that's where most of the money is going to come from. The city, not so much the individual officers because they don't have any money. The officers themselves, but the city and the police department, it certainly has money, so you would want them. Uh, Yeah, you certainly want to be. I'm sorry, I had to answer that. Can any action be brought against the accuser? Uh, Depends. I don't know about them. I don't think you can bring a. I guess you could it be brought for. I don't know about the defamation lawsuit because it was a 911 call. It wasn't made in public. Now, if the incident didn't happen, let's say the guy was lying. Certainly, that's a criminal action that could be brought against that accuser. Uh, if he was lying to the police or anything, false swearing to a police officer, those are criminal actions that can be brought. Can they be sued as a result of it? Um, I don't know necessarily. It's possible if it were, it's possible you can add them, but they may be dismissed from the suit. Don't think you can necessarily get an action against them, although there are things. Uh, that's going to be a tough one because technically he didn't physically harm the man. He just said the guy tried to steal my bike. Now, I wasn't there. I don't know the story behind it, but certainly the actions of the officers is what caught everybody's attention and essentially got my blood pressure raised. But I do this for a living. I see this all the time when these officers act a fool. But certainly, yeah, do I think something could be done against the accuser? It honestly depends. I doubt if it would be. But hey, you never know. So yeah. Sorry, y'all. So anyway, I'm trying to think of who else I left off. So city, definitely the police department, definitely you can mention the insurance company. I don't know about Circle K. The officers should be fired, in my humble opinion, just as a result of what took place. It was a damn shame. It certainly should not have taken place. He certainly, I'm glad it wasn't as serious as it could have been, or as worse, I should say, as it could have been, because this man could have been. I mean, honestly, if he has any health issues, he could have been killed. That's stuff that happens, but it didn't get to that point. So I'm grateful for that. But at any rate, I think the brother is sitting on a gold mine with this case. And it's also going to depend. Now, here's another thing, too, because a lot of people think you can just, well, because he got wrongfully arrested and got slapped, he's just going to end up automatically getting millions. It honestly depends on what his damages are. Certainly, if you're wrongfully arrested, he's super false arrest. He certainly has a claim to that. You could also say there's an intentional inflict. Could you also mention intentional infliction of emotional distress? I think there's an argument for that as well. Certainly, a battery and an assault; those are civil suits. Those are not just criminal, but civil actions. And you're also talking about civil rights violations, which is going to be big for him. The officers, did they follow department policy with regards to this stop? Of course, you can stop a person if you believe is an officer. They're given discretion. If someone they believe has committed a crime, did they have a right to go and confront him? Sure, I would agree they did. How they confronted him and the manner in which they did is a problem. Not having the lights flashing, not telling him he was under that he was under being detained or anything like that. Immediately physically they escalated the altercation and made it physical before he did. And I think that's very, very important, especially when we see the video and we see the officer actually throw a punch at Tyrone first. So, But anyway, guys, I said this wasn't going to be a long live stream. But what do y'all think? Put in the chat money bags. Because that's what I'm going to call Tyrone. When they say call on Tyrone, can I get alone? Yeah, yeah. Tyrone going to get him some money, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to get up and out of here and wrap this up. But also, I want to just send to, I want to keep in my thoughts and prayers our brother Ron Hurd of We All Be News. Brother Ron had been hospitalized. I don't know if anybody saw his videos. He was in the hospital, so I'm just praying that our brother gets well. I'm actually going to text him to check on him, see how well he's doing. I texted him. He was battling some type of infection, but we're praying for the brother and hope he pulls through. Yeah, so shout out to him. But yeah, Tyrone got a loan. But well, anyway, guys, make sure you smash up the likes, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Also purchase The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby. It's available on Amazon Kindle as well. Sorry, another thing went on. And we're going to wrap this thing up, y'all. It's been a great live stream. We'll be back to it on Monday. Mondays, no fun days. I mean, I'm telling you, time is going by quick. We're in fall. Next week is going to be Halloween. So there's only 2 months left in a year, November and December. So I'm trying to push a lot of stuff before the end of the year to say 2024 was a great accomplishment. Anyway, y'all, be one, be safe, and be blessed. We're going to get up out of here, ladies and gentlemen. And I think we are going to have, I wish you all a great weekend, hope you had a great weekend. I wish you all a great week. I'm thinking of the weekend already. I want the weekend to come back, man. I want to be good. Oh, speaking of weekend, before y'all get all out of here, next weekend, if you are in town in New Orleans, Danielle, I need you to make a special trip because we are having our second annual Halloween comedy spectacular. That's right. It's going to be a night of fun and jokes and comedy, as well as there'll be a little costume contest for anybody first, second, and third place. So I want people to come on out. I want people to come on and enjoy themselves. It's going to be an excellent night of comedy and jokes. Hold on a second. Let me just show y'all. So this is a yeah, October 26th at the Verdict. Tickets are on sale on Eventbrite right now, ladies and gentlemen. Go to Eventbrite right now and get your tickets to the comedy show. The hottest comedy show in the city of New Orleans is none other than At the Verdict, presented by G Rich Productions. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be one hell of a show. You don't want to miss it. We got Mark Caesar, we got Wayne Ransom, we got Uncle Brandon Haynes, and the lovely Chu Boo, and all hosted by yours truly, G Rich. That's the I'm putting the link right now in the chat for everybody to go to. $15. It'll be $20 at the door if you don't come, ladies and gentlemen. So make sure if you don't buy them online right now, yeah, you're gonna have to pay $20 at the door, but make sure you all come on out. All right. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna get up out of here. We're gonna wrap this up. It's been a great broadcast, y'all. One, be safe and be blessed.